time for another Alaskan adventure. Alrighty, fellow travelers, welcome back to Adventures of a Traveling Don and another Alaskan journey here in southern Alaska. And today we're taking a day trip from Seward and going up to Alyeska. And on the way there is a fantastic spot you don't want to miss, and that is the Alaskan Wildlife Conservation Center. So we're going to check out this conservation center, and then we'll head up the mountain to Alyeska. But first, let's go see some Alaskan animals. So the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center is about, I'd say about half an hour south from the city of Anchorage. And it's on the way as you're heading towards like Seward or Alyeska. And there's about, I think, 15 different species of animals, about 17 to 18 different enclosures. As you can see behind me, the black bear is kind of like the first one right next to the gift center and the main parking lot. It is, I think, about $27 to get in here for a general admission. But you get to see all of these amazing animals from Alaska. And most of these animals have either been injured or they're orphaned. So they usually find homes here, whether they sometimes are temporary, sometimes they are permanent. But anyway, really kind of cool. The first thing you see, beautiful black bear, absolutely fantastic. So, but anyway, let's continue on and let's check out all the different types of animals they have here. So next to the black bear is the wolf pack, and they're actually all three of them are white wolves. I don't know a specific breed of kind of wolf that they are, but absolutely fantastic. There are three of them. Was able to get two, and then there's a one kind of like hiding and running around in the grass, but it's really kind of cool. And it's amazing how large their enclosures are. Obviously, you know, that's more of what you really want to see. You know, it's one of the things about zoos is like a lot of times their enclosures are way too small, but here these enclosures are fantastic. It's open to the air. This is fantastic. This is amazing. These wolves are so cool. So third one behind me is, of course, the reindeer. And interesting little fact, they have like fact sheets for kind of almost every place that you go. But it's actually kind of interesting. I did not know that reindeer are basically domesticated caribou. Did not know that. So fun fact for that. I think they have a little bit shorter legs than caribou. But of course, reindeer are basically domesticated caribou that are bred for either meat or for work production, kind of how they do cattle in the South. But either way, absolutely beautiful. I love those horns. Those are really cool. So something to be aware of when you are doing this, and people probably watching this think, you know, you're in Alaska. Why aren't you filming like actual wildlife? Well, you have to realize a lot of times, unless you get off the beaten trail, a lot of times wildlife doesn't just show up around Alaska. I've been here for a few months now, and the only time I saw a bear was on the drive through Alaska. I haven't seen one around Seward. You know, they don't honestly come into town. And even if you go on some of the bigger hikes, like around Exit Glacier, which has a lot of people, they kind of stay away. You don't really see them all that often. You know, I've seen a few moose around the property, but that's about it. And it's going to be almost the same thing here. You know, you're generally going to see the animals, but they could be hiding. They could be sleeping. You know, they have their own enclosures. You know, here, this is the big moose enclosure. And they've got a little barn in the back there, which I'm going to guess is probably where the moose is chilling right now. So they're not always going to be out and about, but, you know, take your time. It's a 1.5 mile loop. You got plenty of animals to see. And I do know, particularly for the moose, you can pay, it's like something extra to do a moose feeding, which we hadn't planned. I didn't know about until we got here, but it looks kind of cool. So maybe next time I come here, we'll do the moose feeding, or you guys can send me pictures and videos of you doing the moose feeding. But anyway, this is the moose enclosure. No moose, but we'll continue on. So we found the moose. They were on the other paddock over here. You got 2 of them and they're absolutely gorgeous. One tip for you guys, you ever meet these guys in the wild, stay away. Particularly if you see the babies, get the heck away. Like, bears will bluff charge you and you can potentially get away with that. Moose don't care. They will mess you up and your car. So, but absolutely beautiful, beautiful creatures. So next animal on the list is the muskox. And my buddy Burley, who's with me, just told me the difference between that and buffalo or bison is that they're, of course, a little bit shorter. They're kind of stockier, a little bit leaner. And of course, they have that kind of long coat that the bison and the buffalo just don't have. I think these guys get up to like 900 pounds, which of course bison get much more than that. But even still, really kind of cool. So I think I mentioned in the last video when we went up and we were coming down through the ice fields, I had kind of like that Jurassic Park moment. It's the same thing here. It's like, as you can see, there's this kind of high raised boardwalk when you get to the enclosures that have got both the black and the brown bears. So I feel like I'm in Jurassic Park because it's like everything is secured here. They have electric fences down there. And I'm just waiting for like the T-Rex to kind of bob up, but instead you have the furry T-Rex, which is basically the big grizzly bears that we're hoping to see. And again, this is one of those where they might be off in the trees somewhere, so you may or may not catch them, but sometimes just be patient. So, and spend as much time here as you want until they close. It's, you know, the admission is for the whole day, and they open up at 9 a.m. So, but this is absolutely breathtaking. At least the views are fantastic. So we have found the grizzly bear, and that's a chunky boy. Good Lord, absolutely beautiful. So the next enclosure after the bears is basically kind of where you come into almost what I would call like a prairie section. And way back in that barn is a couple of fantastic caribou, and those horns are huge. Absolutely amazing. And phenomenal place. But yeah, definitely come and check it out. And of course, we're going to head over this way and we'll see the bison next. So going by the map that they gave us, I may or may not got that last one wrong. I think the last enclosure that you guys just saw with the big antlers, those might have been the bull elk. Like the way that it goes coming into this part, it says bull elk and then caribou. And then these are the caribou behind. I thought caribou were a little bit bigger than these guys, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm not a wildlife expert, particularly when it comes to Alaska, but either way, really cool. So at the head of the loop, as you're kind of entering the prairie area where, you know, the buffalo and the caribou and elk are, is the turnagain arm. So this is runs out all the way out into the bay, into the ocean near Anchorage. And this is the head of it. So this is where all kind of the rivers and creeks all converge and then eventually spill out into the ocean near Anchorage. But you want to talk about some fantastic views. The animals by themselves is worth a treat, but right here, just coming out here, is amazing. And right now we're in low tide, so technically you could go out there, but I wouldn't do it. They have warning signs for that, just because it's mud flats and you could probably sink real fast in there. But even still, what a view. So another interesting thing about the kind of the top part of the loop when you get to where the tungsten arm is, they are actually building a brand new education center right behind me. So when you guys come here in the future, that will be existing. And they also have way back there, let me see if I can get it. Yeah, that gazebo. Apparently you can book events here and do weddings and stuff, which I don't blame them. This is a great backdrop for a wedding. We actually just pulled up on someone doing a proposal. I was like, oh, wow. You know, the random things you run into sometimes when you're traveling. But yeah, the guy was proposing right there in that gazebo. It's really kind of cool. Nice back shots to that. And now, as you see, we've reached the bison enclosure. Absolutely gorgeous beast. And it's really kind of cool. Like when I ran into them on the Alaskan Highway, if you haven't watched that ultimate Alaskan Highway video, where I drove all the way up from, you know, Calgary all the way here to Seward, Alaska, definitely check it out. Because once you get around Muncho Lake, you see just herds of these guys just along the road. And they're so cool. So cool. We even got a few calves out there. Cute little babies. Cute little babies. I've been told the domesticated ones, Burley, you said they're like big puppies?
Like giant puppies.
Giant puppies when they're domesticated. In the wild, though, don't mess with them. I've seen enough videos of, particularly like in Yellowstone, where they charge cars. Yeah, don't be an idiot. But still, beautiful. All right, so now when you get back to the area that is around the gift shop and the information center, this is kind of where you start to see the elk. This is where you'll see the coyotes. Wasn't able to see the fox, but you've got this huge porcupine, and they're doing like a feeding right now, which is really kind of cool. And I think, like I said, you have the one with the moose, but I think there's a couple other feedings that you could do, and I believe it's I don't know what the amount is. I'll have to look that up. I'll put that all the information in the description below, but it is really kind of cool to just watch this guy chowing down. All right, so that was the Alaskan Wildlife Conservation Center. Awesome place. Definitely worth those $27. And like I said, you can actually, I would prefer to walk it. I recommend walking, but if you can't, you can basically drive through the whole thing and get pictures and whatnot. There's only a certain places I think you can stop along the way. because there are certain areas where it says no parking. But anyway, we are now off to Alyeska to go check up on the mountain. And then also, I do believe they have a blueberry festival this weekend that we're going up there. All right, so we have made it up to the Alyeska area, and this is a ski resort town. We're actually heading towards the hotel resort in just a minute, but along the route, if you're like parking in town and then walking to the resort for like the Blueberry Festival or anything like that, even if you're just here, non-Blueberry Festival time, there's this meadow that you can come out. You'll see a couple of side areas. It's almost like a side quest. Mr. Burley was talking about side quests over here. And you come out here and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I actually saw some people picking some blueberries. So I don't see any here, but people were coming around with bags of blueberries. And I was like, I'm curious to see where those are. I don't see them any right here. Yeah, well, no, I think they were picking them from somewhere out here.
I don't see them.
But possibly. Either way, just coming out to this meadow, absolutely fantastic. Okay, so we've finally made it to Alyeska Resort, and first off, this is a beautiful resort. I can see why during the winter time, this is a fantastic looking ski resort. But they've got the Blueberry Festival going on. I think this happens every second weekend of August. I'm filming this on the 9th, 8th or 9th? What's today?
10th?
10th?
9th.
9th? 9th. But yeah, as you can see, there is, of course, behind me, all the ski trails during the winter time. But before we hit the festival for some food, I do want to see if we can still catch, because we're about 4 o'clock right now, catch one of the trams up to go to the top, get some views, and then we'll come back down. Okay, so we just come up the tram to Mt Alyeska, and look at behind me. Are you kidding me? This is absolutely gorgeous. And we're just looking at one side here. There's also the other side where you get some great views down, particularly into the resort. But man alive, they've got great, like during the summertime, you can come up here. There's a lot of hiking trails. You can actually technically hike all the way up here. You don't have to take the tram. The tram is just the fast way to get up here. It is $48, unless you're staying. I think there's a hotel discount. But if you're just coming up here for the day, it's about $48 to get up the tram and back down. But my God, definitely worth the views. And Burley just said that they do also have season passes, I think both for summer and for winter, of course, for the skis. So this is amazing. Well, let's continue climbing, get some more views, and then we'll head back down to the festival. And I, ladies and gentlemen, I'm on top of the world. Well, actually, no. Top of the world is back in the clouds. But even still, this is absolutely epic when it comes to the views from up here. All around you, being here up on Mt Alyeska. Phenomenal. Little ants.
Little people.
And it's behind clouds now, but got a couple shots earlier of a glacier that's up on top of that mountain over there. Not sure what that mountain is. Not sure what that glacier is, but really cool. Highly recommend if you come up the Tram. Number one, wear proper hiking boots. I hadn't planned on hiking today. We just kind of came up here, and this is about as far as we're going because it's starting to get a little bit more sketch going that way. But even still, and I'm in just proper tennis shoes. But it was definitely worth coming up this far just to get these views. Phenomenal. So Blueberry Festival, you got to get some blueberry stuff. And first off, I got literally a carton of blueberry lemonade. So, oh my God, that's tart. That's really good though. You can tell. You can
Sweet tart.
That blueberry flavor is fantastic. But man, oh, that's real good lemonade. You can see all the lemons that they have in there as well too. That's fantastic. All right, now you can't go to a blueberry festival without getting a blueberry funnel cake. And look at that. Oh. Steaming blueberries on there. Sauce looks really, really good. So we're gonna go ahead and dig in, get myself a couple of those berries, part of that. Oh my God. It's better than the strawberry one at the Bear Paw Festival. This is fantastic. That funnel cake is super soft. And that blueberry sauce is phenomenal. So good. All right, guys, so that's going to be the end of this Alaskan day venture. This is something particularly that you can really do from Anchorage. Like I said, from Anchorage down to the wildlife sanctuary is probably about 30, 45 minutes. And then up to Alyeska is kind of on the way back. Another 20 minutes heading back towards Anchorage and then a little bit off to the side into the valley. But what a day. All the animals we got to see. If you're in Alaska for only a few days and you don't really have the ability to kind of go out and really kind of deep explore some of the national parks and stuff, that's kind of the best way to do it. And then, of course, you have Alyeska here. During the wintertime, I'd love to come back here and do some skiing. But coming up here during the summertime when they have these festivals and they have a bunch of other events that happen, absolutely phenomenal. And I want to thank, of course, my buddy Burley for being my chauffeur and joining me on this particular journey. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I'll get to those as soon as I can. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. Really helps me out. And if you do want to help support the travels, I do have a Patreon page and a Buy Me a Coffee account. All those will be down in the links below. And until we meet again, guys, peace out. Have a great night.